have to say, in the many years that I've been involved in the hi-fi retail and distribution business, that it's a very long time since I've seen one singular product, or perhaps even two variations of that product, capture so much interest across every social media platform, printed press, review press, online and printed, than the Eversolo brand of products, and those would be the DMP-A6 and of course the Master Edition of that same device. Now, what we intend to do, and we will no doubt, someone will be very unhappy, is we are going to do, as well as this discussion about the Master Edition DMP-A6, which is the key part of this video, we're going to do a group test, and we're going to do a blind test, and everybody within Elite Audio will participate, and they'll be asked to vote blindly on which products they think sound the best. So it's a pure performance test. Now, obviously it's a kind of a David and Goliath scenario, because once I go through with you, which I'll do later in the video, what we will be pitching these against. But I think there is a lot of discussion about the price performance, and certainly there's no doubts at all the Eversolo is an exceptional device, but we've not done this, I would say, vastness of comparisons that we will be doing in the video in the coming 2 weeks. So, very quickly, for those of you who have just heard of Eversolo, Eversolo is part of a larger brand which is called Zidoo. Now, we will also be including 2 of the Zidoo products in the group test. There'll be 7 devices in total, ranging from the entry-level Eversolo, which is about £760, and the most expensive will be a streamer DAC combination, which will be the only separates in the group test, which retails about £3,500. So it's quite a price spread. I kind of see them falling into 2 different categories: the kind of up to sort of £1,200, £1,300 category, and then the sort of £1,500 to £3,000 category. And it will be very interesting to see in the blind test how each of these products perform. A bit more of that in a minute or two. So yeah, I would say without exception, every time I browse through my own personal Facebook feed, there is without doubt some post somewhere referring to an Eversolo A6. And the question that I always ask is, what has captured people's imagination so much? Well, let's be honest, it's, £760 or there or thereabouts is not loose change by any stretch of the imagination. It's a lot of money. What else can you buy for that sort of price? And that's a very valid question, because on the surface, the Eversolo, it looks great. I can tell you that from our own experience of setting these up for customer listening sessions, that it's easy to use, the app is intuitive, the display is very customizable, and I guess it kind of comes back to a lot of different things. But when you then read the reviews that have been done on the DMP-A6, you will start to understand why there is a real buzz and this real kind of very frenzied debate that I see across all social media platforms. One of the questions that we get asked quite regularly is, firstly, is it worth spending the £400 or so extra to buy the Master Edition, and what are the key differences? So to very quickly answer those, one of the biggest differences is in the op amps. So the Master Edition uses the 1642 op amps, whereas the entry level uses the 1612 op amps. The biggest difference, I would say, the top end of the 1642, that is in the Master Edition, is a bit silkier, a bit smoother, and overall the presentation is probably a bit fuller on the Master Edition versus the entry level, and that's based on our A/B listening test comparisons. And in the real world, that extra money you spend, you may well feel that it is justified purely on how it sounds. There are other differences. One is as well on the physical appearance, the aesthetics. The Master Edition has gold badging versus the silver badging. I see a lot of people either loving the gold badging, so it's a very Marmite type of aesthetic, or they really don't like it at all. The other difference is in the internal clock system. The Master Edition uses two AccuSilicon femto clocks versus just standard high precision in the standard A6. So again, what we see is that there's some money being spent on the actual femto side of things, and that again is not something to be overlooked. How that again would transfer into real world listening that we've heard certainly is I'd say the rhythm and timing on the Master Edition are definitely better compared to the Standard Edition. That's not to say they aren't good on the Standard Edition, but without question on the Master Edition these differences are audible. The question really is, do you feel that those audible differences warrant the additional spend? And ultimately that's a question that only you as the purchaser can answer. So to give a very brief overview, we have got two incredibly well built, very well specified streamer DACs. They use the Sabre 9038 chipset in the Master Edition. There are two of these, and again, at the price point, it's a very high spec device for the price that it is. So, as I say, somebody somewhere is going to be unhappy by the time we've done the group test. Who and why, you'll have to tune back in to find out. But let's just say at this point, the Master Edition, I believe, is exceptional value for money. And if you are in the market for a streamer, anything up to about £1,500, then the Master Edition should most certainly be on your short list. One thing that we will do to make that process to facilitate your ability to make what I call an educated or informed purchase decision is hearing it in your own system. So the Eversolo products are all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, because we want to make sure that you are getting the very best for the money you're spending. So I'm going to quickly run through what we will be including in our group test, shootout, group review, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be doing it in a knockout style, so we'll put 2 against 2 and so on. So first of all, we've got the Eversolo DMP-A6 Standard Edition, £759. Then also under the Eversolo banner is the Master Edition, which is just under £1,200. Now, we also represent the parent company here, which is Zidoo. Now, they've got 2 streaming devices, but they also incorporate 4K HDMI, which means that you can stream 4K YouTube. Now, I must admit, when I first came across this, I was thinking, is that something I would use? I don't think I would. However, I can now eat my own words, because regularly in listening sessions, my wife and I will stream from 4K YouTube, and we will use the HDMI output to get the 4K video, but also high-res audio. So the Zidoo products offer that in addition. What will be interesting though is to see how the Zidoo products, which will be the Neo Alpha, which is just under £3,000, so that's not anywhere near the price point of the Eversolos, and the Neo S, now that's a 1,499 device, which in theory, with the 4K HDMI video capacity too, competes more with the Master Edition. So again, it'll be very interesting to see how these two compare, and most likely we will pitch those together in a head-to-head given the price points. Also into the mix, we're bringing the Volumio Primo, which has picked up ISA Design Awards. It's again a streaming DAC. It retails at £849 with its own DAC built in, and again our listening sessions show that this is a very good device for the money. It doesn't have the 6-inch display that the Eversolo devices have, but then, you know, some people, that is not something that would give you a reason to buy something or not buy something. For most audiophiles, sound performance is the #1 priority, and I guess we can back that up with our own experience of selling Antipodes. The top of the range Eladra, and we're now into Gen 2 on the Eladra, retails at very close to £30,000 with no OLED display. So, you know, these are very much season to taste, personal preference types of features. In addition, we will then include from SOTM, this will be the only separates that will be in the test, the SMS 200 Ultra Neo and a Metrum Onyx DAC. Now they will be the most expensive combination at around £3,500. In addition, from Hi-Fi Rose, and I guess I do see many people talking about Eversolo and Hi-Fi Rose in the same sentence or the same paragraph. The Hi-Fi Rose RS250A, which is the newer version or the latest incarnation, retails at £2,349. So you can see we've got a really big spread across a lot of streaming products that many of you ask about us regularly. So what we want to do in this group test is give you a flavour of how they all perform with each other in relation to each other and how they perform individually. So what we will give you is, you will see the devices set up. We'll then give you the scores for each based on all the staff here voting in a blind test, so they will not know what they're listening to. They'll be connected to the different inputs on the same amplifier, and then they will playing the same piece of music from the same source, so whether it be Tidal, Qobuz or whatever, everything will be matched to be exactly the same, so that there is no advantage or disadvantage given to any product on an individual basis. And in the interest of transparency and fairness, that's the only way that we can do this particular test. So it's a biggie, it's coming in the next couple of weeks. So what I'd suggest, so you don't miss it, is subscribe. It's important for us that we know that the content that we're putting out is what you want to see and hear. So by subscribing, we know that one, you won't miss out when that video comes out because you'll get a notification. And actually, I'm genuinely fascinated, intrigued, excited about when it ends up, because do we see a giant slaying outcome where the Eversolo stands tall from its, low-level price comparison with the other products in the test? Or do we see that there is a natural progression, that the actual pricing of each of these products reflects their actual performance? And I think this is where it's always important when you're looking at reviews is to add the context of the price, because reviewers do include that. So you could get a 5-star £800 device that is outperformed by a 3-star £2,000 device in terms of overall sonic performance, and it's always the context that is important. And we will be including the context in the process of us group testing these devices. So please stay tuned, please subscribe, and look out for this video when it comes out in the coming weeks. As I said, we're genuinely excited. One thing to say, we have the Eversolo products. At the time of me talking to the camera and talking to you, we have both the Standard Edition and the Master Edition in stock for immediate delivery on the next day service. These things are very hard to get everywhere, but we've just received stock of both. We fulfilled back orders, so we now have stock available to ship immediately for your listening pleasure. So, thank you very much indeed for watching this video today. As I said, please subscribe. It's very easy to do, and it gives us the incentive to create more regular content, but also please feel free to contact us. The details come up at the end of this video. And tell us the kind of content you want to see. If there's any specific videos that you would like to see on a specific product, tell us. That's what we'll do. We'll create a list of that for you. We also have some very exciting news about a new brand that's joining the Elite Audio portfolio. So again, please subscribe, because there will be a video that covers that before anything else, and it's something you're definitely going to want to see. So thank you again for watching this video today. At Elite Audio, we always really appreciate the fact that you take the time to watch what we create, and we love the feedback you give us. We really appreciate your time, and also appreciate the business that you've given us over the recent years. Have a good day, thanks for watching, and look out, please subscribe to get this group test video flying into your inbox the second it's published. You're not going to want to miss it. The outcome will surprise many.